never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, beautiful people. How are you? A very fine Friday to you all. I hope you've done okay for the week. It hasn't taxed you too hard, and maybe you've got a couple of days off over the weekend. Maybe you've got one. Maybe you've got none. If that is the case, then I guess you're looking forward to when your weekend comes sometime next week. Hello, Debs33333. All the threes, most interesting number. 3:30 this afternoon, I think I posted the show or thereabouts, and I posted up, beat you all. And Debs was like, straight in after it. So missed me by that much. And Aussie Sue was pretty close thereafter. G'day, Paul in the house early in the day too. I'll go back down to where we are at the bottom, although I did star a couple of comments. The lovely Aussie Sue. Please remember to like and share. Please do, folks. Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel that you're watching, please do. And even if you have subscribed previously, please check, because we are discovering that some people's subscriptions have been dumped for whatever reason. And we're certainly not doing the dumping. So, if you just want to check for us, that'd be great. Subscribe if you can. You don't have to put the notifications on. But even if you do, there's a 50-50 chance you'll ever get one from us for whatever reason. Probably less than that. Hello, Sandy K. How are you, lovely lady? You'll ring me next week. Farrier Day Monday. Oh, God, a lot of donkeys with feet that need working on. That mean all hands on deck for you, I'm sure. So, talk whenever you've got time, Sandy. You ring me. You're the busy one. And I know it's not been easy down there with all the water and everything else that's going on around the property. So, no, I understand you're a busy lady. So, you go ahead, get yourself ahead, and when you're free, give us a yell. Phil Cooker, congratulations again on your $750 win in our lottery. And it turns out that Sandy's package got to you today as well. Did you get the donkey ears, mate? Like to see a picture of you wearing them. I don't think she sent donkey ears. Don't go thinking they're there. But if you had a pair floating around, mate, always happy to see the picture. You know how it works. Thanks very much for everybody who has already bought a ticket in the current lottery. $750 to give away. I looked a little while ago. I can probably have a quick look now and see where we're standing at. 204 sold out of 750, so a little over 550 something left to go. And if you would like to be involved, then all you've got to do is head off to our merch.vofhq.com website, and if you click on the Sanctuary 750 link, it will send you directly to the place where you can purchase your chance at $750. You'll be helping not only the Voice of Freedom, but also the wonderful folks at the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary. And while I talk about Sandy and Baz a lot, they're the people who obviously are the pinnacle of it, if you like, but they have a lot of people underneath them that give them a huge amount of help and a support plan. Like Sandy has elderly parents she needs to look after from time to time as well. So all these people from the area come together to help look after these amazing animals. And we want to help support that team as much as we possibly can as well. And every ticket you buy goes to help in whichever way it happens to be. Sandy will choose which way the money is used, but it'll go to aid the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary, along with paying a few of our bills and hopefully being able to pay Vince for looking after all of our IT for so long and paying for it out of his own pocket, which has been pretty nice of him. Yes, didn't I put that in the channel notes? That's very silly of me. I'll have to go and change that. Here's the link for those people who want to go and shoot off straight away. I should tell you, folks, that we have a very interesting show tonight. We are going to be discussing something that we've been told could never happen. Oh, it'll never happen. Just won't happen. And look, there are ways and means of it never happening, but it really does kind of sort of happen. Which is a bit disappointing. But before we get into that, I'd like you, if I can, to introduce you to a new member of the family. I have been lacking a bit of animal love recently, and I went into town today and happened to walk past an aquarium, and not that you can really see him, but that is Bluto. He is a Siamese fighting fish. He has beautiful colours, and I do have a photo here that I could show you, but it's not really a very spectacular photo. So what I might do is show you this instead. This will give you a little bit of a look at him floating around in what is one of the weirdest shapes of fish tanks I've ever seen. These beautiful blues and reds and all that kind of stuff. So we now have another Voice of Freedom mascot. We'll see how long this one survives. It's probably bad of me to joke about that, but it just seems to be the way things have been going, don't you think? Anyway, let's move on and bring in our special guest for tonight. Somehow or other, the bats have got out of the way. There must be all sorts of things, probably monkeys peddling the whatever it is to get power into the little shack on the side of a beach in the middle of nowhere, Bali, to bring Cass Smith with us to us this evening. How are you, Cass? How are you? And I'm sorry to interrupt your trip to Bali.
That's okay, Carl. As you know, I have not been on many podcasts lately over the last year or so because I felt like I was just saying the same thing over and over and over again. The crash is coming, the crash is coming, the crash is coming. And people were starting to say, but Cass, you keep saying that, and it doesn't happen. So
it doesn't happen. No, it can't happen, Cass. It never happens. And yet, yesterday, the headlines came out, and I'm just going to read one here from news.com.au. Thousands of Aussies who've invested millions of their super into First Guardian Master Funder and Limbo as the company, wait for this word, collapses. Not going to happen. Super funds can't collapse, Cass. Is that right?
Yeah, and this is why I jumped on your show, is because, things are changing, because you could go back into my previous podcasts and my previous shows, and I will have said on quite a few occasions when I'm bagging out corporate super and retail super and all of the super funds out there, which I call the online super accounts, when I'm bagging them out, I still actually say, but they'll never collapse. I'm not saying they're going to collapse. They won't collapse. They can't collapse.
Yeah.
And then, collapse. And now that I've looked into this one, it's not the only one.
Oh, wow, really?
No.
So this is being hidden in a certain fashion then. So they can't say the fund has collapsed because the fund, for whatever reason, is still standing up. Is that right?
Well, as you can see from the news articles on it, there's like one or two articles. Like, this is a big issue. And, of course, the media have to say something. So they've put out one or two articles, but that's it. Next week, this will be swept under the carpet. And now that I've looked at the articles, I've got an article in front of me that mentions two other funds that have collapsed this year. Another one costing $480 million and another one costing $160 million, Shield Master Fund and Australian Fiduciaries. And just talking to a friend of mine here today, she's caught up in a fund that's collapsed. So they're actually collapsing, and the media are saying nothing about it.
Okay, so could this be, as we find so often, it is a play on words and we're missing something here? Like, the word super fund implies that the entire fund has collapsed, but is it only a portion of the investments that have been put in by that company into certain areas? So if that area happens to be property and it crashes for whatever reason, or if it happens to be, as it seems to be with these people, they seem to like luxury cars. Is that something that a super fund would invest in?
Yeah, and so this is where I probably wish I had a flowchart in front of me, because the way the media are covering it up and like saying, it's not really a big deal, is because it's not a super fund that's collapsed. And as I've always said, a super fund can't, and someone's just asked, Crunchy at 8, how does funds collapse? That's exactly the question I asked, because so I've run businesses and people know my background. I don't hide it. I ran a company that went bust. I went personally bankrupt. I lost everything. And I know how it happens. If you're in a company and you're investing and you're taking on debt and you're doing all these things and you're borrowing from here and there, and then all of a sudden the company doesn't work and you can't meet those obligations, then you go bust, you collapse. How does a super fund collapse? They just get investments from people like you and I. They get money. They're not meant to be borrowing. They're not meant to be in business. They're not meant to be doing anything risky. They are just meant to be investing your funds. How do they collapse? And so this is how the media are covering it up. They're saying, well, it's not a super fund that's collapsed. It's an underlying investment. So you put your money into a super fund, and then that super fund, well, it's got to do something with your money. So it needs to pick a whole lot of investments. And so this First Guardian was an investment that the super funds invested in.
Oh, okay. So it was a tier below the likes of, well, the fund that I'm in, the Australian Super Fund.
Yes. So you could imagine that if you're in Australian Super, other people would be in Rest and Host and, all the names that are out there. So those funds, they need to select investment products. So they will put the money off mainly to, and I've said this before in plenty of podcasts, Vanguard, First State Super, BlackRock, all our favourite people. But they select, they can't put everything into those funds. They actually put almost all of their funds in there, but they do select a few others for what they call diversification. So they select a few other funds, and it's one of those sub-funds that has gone bankrupt. So when you go and see a financial planner and they put you in a super fund, they then give you a whole product recommendation of the other funds that the sub-investments that you should invest in, and they recommend you do this and this and this and 10% to this and 5% to this and 2% to this and blah, 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 blah. And they justify their $5,000 statement of advice with a big list of recommendations. And I spoke to you before the show about the interesting way that financial planners select these investments. And I'm going to be hated by financial planners, but you know what? I don't really care. I was a financial planner.
Add them to the list. Add them to the list.
For those that don't know, I'm in Bali because, I don't want to be in Australia at the moment because, a lot of people don't like me at the moment. I don't care anymore. I've given up. What I've learned in life is that you cannot please everybody. So please yourself, your family, your friends, those that you care about. But anyway, where was I? So as a financial planner for 20 odd years, it always perplexed me. It's like, well, I never felt good enough. Like I had done 16 years in university and I did my this is a funny story. I did my financial planning diploma and it felt so easy that I went, no, that couldn't have been real. So I did it again through a different provider.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that can't be real. Anyway, back in the day, getting a financial planning license was like, basically filling in a competition on the back of a Kellogg's cornflakes box. It was so easy. And then I'm like, well, I don't feel like qualified and educated to select investment products because who am I? I'm not Warren Buffett. I don't know the ins and outs of every company. But here I am, clients are paying me a fortune to select their investments. So how do I do that? And it really bothered me. And in the end, how financial planners select investments is we have people called business development managers, which is the salesperson for someone like First Guardian, rings my office and says, oh, Catherine, I'm coming to Canberra. I'd like to have lunch with you. And they take us out to lunch and they wine us and dine us and take us to the best restaurant and spend an absolute fortune on lunch, and becomes a long lunch and they get to know us. And then the next thing we know, we're recommending that to our clients.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that is the truth. All of the investments that I recommended as a financial planner to my clients back in the day, I'm not a financial planner anymore, but when I was, it would have been on whoever came and wined me and dined me and convinced me that their product was the best. So in the case of this First Guardian, basically they have gone to financial planners and they have said, oh, blah, 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 look at this fund and look at what we're doing and da-da-da and look how great we are. And so then financial planners have gone, okay, well, let's put them on our product list and let's recommend them. And looking at the article, so once again, if you're just investing money, how did they go bankrupt? Okay, so look at the article. According to the article, they bought a $550,000 Lamborghini.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, a Lamborghini. They invested, just scrolling the article here, they invested significant amount of money in some of their related parties' property developments.
Yeah.
Like doing all the things that super funds are not allowed to do. Super funds are not allowed to do that.
Yeah. Now,
Your money
is it incumbent upon my super fund if they put my money into that particular group, is it incumbent upon them to make sure that group is doing the right thing, or do they get to wash their hands of it?
It should be, shouldn't it?
You'd think, yeah. So leading on from that then, and I haven't checked, but if this Australian Super did invest in this company and they used my money to do it, that's gone then.
Gone.
And there's no fiduciary duty on Australian Super to have overseen this, supposedly.
No.
And clearly there's no point in chasing the people who have done it, because they'll be the Lamborghini will be sold and probably the house in Bondi.
So ASIC and the liquidators are chasing it, but I've been involved with liquidators for a long time, unfortunately through my own circumstances and through clients that have had problems. Liquidators, they will not leave anything for the investors. Yeah. They will sell up the Lamborghini, they'll get whatever assets they can, and they will spend it all in their fees examining this issue. That's what liquidators do. They're like hyenas that come after a carcass. They will chew it and chew it and chew it and chew it and take everything until there's nothing left. And then they will say to all those poor investors, I'm sorry, there's nothing left.
Yeah, and smile like a laughing hyena.
Yeah, but they will say, well, we did our best. We did our professional best, and sorry, there's nothing left. And that's what's happened here. So, yeah, as I said, that's why I came on your show, Carl. I'm in Bali. I'm meant to be on a holiday. But, everything I've been saying over the last 3 years about collapses coming, I could not miss this opportunity to get out there and say to people that, when you think your super is safe in Rest and Host and all of these wonderful firms, oh my God, I'm probably going to get a legal letter next week, but I don't care, I'm in Bali, saying that I can't say these things about super funds. But when your super funds are putting their money into things like this, do you really want that to happen?
Well, I thought that part of the reason you put your money into a place, I'll say Australian Super because it's where mine has gone, and I did that with an expectation that they manage that with some modicum of responsibility. I understand, most of it's invested in the stock market, and the stock market dies, all your money's gone. And to be honest, I've never had enough in there for it to be worrying. Or to really be useful, if I'm honest. So I'm in a different position when I view super. But there are many of you watching now who, if you haven't done so already, need to be able to protect yourself from these things that never are going to happen, but apparently do seem to be kind of happening in the background. And Cass, I'm betting that the best way to do that is to take control of your own wealth with a self-managed super fund.
Yeah, and when it comes to self-managed super funds, like people think I'm out here like pushing my own product, but I'm actually not. I retired, when COVID hit and everything happened. I just went, I'm out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a financial planner. I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to do any of this. It's all a load of crap. But I stood on stage and I just said to people, like, get your super out of the system because the system is going to crash. And everything you've got on those platforms, those what I call online, because basically all they are is you log on and you see your money online. You don't own it. Well, you do own it technically, but you can't control it. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. You can't hold it. And when the whole system crashes, boom, it's gone, just like we've seen in this example. So self-managed super funds is something I have been doing for 30 plus years. it was my bread and butter as an accountant. It's just what I did. And so they're legitimate, they're legal, they're absolutely above board. There's nothing untoward about self-managed super fund. What it is people, someone, after the ad today, someone messaged me and said, well, is a self-managed super fund safer than a retail fund? And I'm like, yeah, self-managed means you manage it. So the risk is up to you. If you put it in something like gold and silver and put it under your bed, it's safe.
Yep.
So it's up to you. A self-managed super fund, it's not like we do self-managed super funds. We set them up for people. But once the money is rolled over into that, you control the money, you invest, you decide, you put the gold under your bed if you want to. And how safe is that? If the whole world collapses, your gold is still sitting under your bed.
Yep. And if you happen to have silver and had it yesterday, it's gone up nearly $2 an ounce.
It's
in
been
24 hours.
So since I started, so people also say to me, oh, Cass, you've been saying the financial system's been crashing for like 3 years and it hasn't happened. But in that time, gold has gone up 150%. And silver about 60%. So, even though the system hasn't crashed yet, my clients are still really happy with what I've said. And I follow people like Jim Rickards and Robert Kiyosaki, so you can look them up and follow their podcasts. And Jim Rickards believes that gold is going to go to 15,000 US an ounce. So we still have a huge amount to go. And someone just commented on Warren Buffett. Yeah, he's pulled all his money out of the stock market. And I can tell you, he won't have it sitting in cash in bank. He has put it into gold and silver and probably Bitcoin. So it's all happening out there on the market. And I just say to everybody, a lot of people think, oh, my super, it's not till I'm 60 or 70 and I'll probably never see it. So who cares? No bullshit. Sorry. I'm not going to swear. Oh, it's only Carl Shard. I'm sure he doesn't matter.
You're right.
It is your money. That is money that you have worked for, that your employer has put into your super for you. It is your money. Take it and put it in. If you're not 60, if you're over 60, you can just take it out and use it. But if you're under 60, take it and put it in self-managed super funds so that you can then put it into gold and silver or Bitcoin or crypto or whatever you want, as long as it's an asset allowed under superannuation laws. Don't leave it. So I guess I've been a little bit quieter lately and just like saying, some of these funds are good. And if you want to be on the share market, stay in these funds. But after these collapses, and this, I don't believe this will be the first one. This will be a string, I believe, of many. So I'm not going to be quiet anymore. And I can get in trouble. I mean, I often wonder when there's a knock at the door, is that the feds? Well, we don't have feds over here, but what are they here? They're going to lock me up because they probably will one day. But you know what? I don't care. Come and get me. Get your super out. Yeah. Get it out. Like, I think our firm, last time I checked, and this isn't brag-worthy, but last time I checked, I think we have been responsible for moving about 100 million out of the system into gold and silver. And you know what? I'm proud of that. I've taken money out of Vanguard, BlackRock, First State, all the evil organizations that invest in pharmaceuticals and petroleum companies and everything that we stand opposed to. So we take the money out of those places and put it into your own gold and silver or whatever it is, crypto, whatever it is, and you look after it yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Sunflower's got an interesting point here. She went to open an account at the bank. They wanted her to fill out a bunch of forms. Told them, nope, not interested. The bank and the government corp don't need to know everything. Well, absolutely. But what do you do about if you have to have a bank account?
so that is one one thing with self-managed super funds is it does have to have a bank account. It does have to be compliant. And some people accuse us at Freedom Financial Solutions, Freedom FFS, Freedom for Fred's sake, that we are still corporatized, we are still in the system. And yes, we are. Because the only way to get your super out of the system is to put it into the system in self-managed super fund. But so we have to play in the system, and we have to have a bank account and a tax file number and a director's ID and all the things to stay in the system. But we're sort of a bridge between that world and this world, because once you've got it into self-managed, you can then put it into gold and silver and have that in your own possession. And that's where you get the money out of the online systems and into your own hands. And that has been my passion since the day, I stood on the stages and in Canberra, in Epic, in the rally, in the convoy to Canberra. And I stood on the stages and I just said, just get your money out of the system.
Yeah. And like you say, you've been preaching it for, 25 plus years maybe, but certainly for the last 3 or 4 years that we've been associated, it has been a solid mantra. And your team that you put together at Freedom Financial Solutions, now run by Mary Jane, who has a wonderful team underneath her, you've developed a system and you've developed relationships with the super companies that mean this process can have that super fund money in your bank account within a fortnight, usually.
Yeah. It's a 4 to 6 week process, but our record was 17 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From SMSF, from you filling in our application form to us getting your money out into your bank account. That's our record. That was really full on. But yeah, we've got all the processes in place. Mary Jane is just absolutely amazing. She's a systems driven process person. So she backs me up because I'm just off with the fairies in Bali doing whatever I want to do. And she backs it up with the process and the systems to get everything done for you.
Yeah, cool. So, James, I would suggest if that's happened to you, I'd be removing all my money from that bank immediately and going somewhere else.
No, James, that is the law. If you don't give them your tax file number, they'll take out 45% of the interest you earned, which is probably, unless you've got a lot of money in the bank, not much anyway.
Yeah, right.
And then what they actually do is they report it to the tax office and you get it back at year-end tax return. So it's not an actual big deal.
Pete has a question. What stops government recalling your your self-managed balances and administration like a public trustee?
So it's never happened to date, and I can't see it happening. But yes, of course, we always think about the 1 to 2% chance that something might happen. And I like this question because it's like, okay, I've got this. I've got gold and silver sitting on my desk. Okay, so if your super fund is in gold and silver bars, and if it's in gold, I've got a gold one here, and gold ones are worth $3,500 for this sort of coin, and the tax department comes and says, we want all your super, and your super is sitting in gold buried in your backyard or under your bed. What are you going to do? Dig it up and go give it to them?
I wouldn't be doing that. Yeah.
So an interesting thing, people talk about the gold confiscation in America back in the, 50s or something. But what people don't know is that when that happened is that the American government said to the people, we're going to confiscate all your gold. Please bring all your gold to the Federal Reserve and we'll pay you for it. And you know what? Some people did. But all the farmers out west that own guns and everything just went, nah, come get it. And they didn't hand it in. So that's exactly the same thing. If you have your gold and silver physically stored somewhere that you know where it is, but nobody else does, and the government decide they want it, yeah.
Yep. Good luck fighting for that. And the government.
I can't say all this. As a financial advisor, accountant, all that, I can't say all this. I didn't say that. I really didn't.
Yeah, and Mr. Bill makes a point in the chat that all the bullion dealers have to take ID. They do have to take ID if you're going into their building and if you're going into their office, for sure. But that ID isn't shared, and it would take a court order on Ainsley to get any information about any client that has ever dealt with them online or in face-to-face. And I imagine, Cass, that would be the same with all reputable bullion sellers.
Yeah, it's all the same. And in a self-managed super fund, it's all transparent. It is all reported on the financial statements, on the tax returns, on the audits to the tax department, which is what we do as a firm. We do all that for you. We keep you compliant. We make sure the government's happy with you. But at the end of the day, if it's buried in your backyard, I think it was just Sandy said, forgot where I buried it. Yeah, I mean, I'd be guilty of that sort of stuff. I forget it all the time where I put stuff. They come looking for. Yeah, Carl's laughing because he actually knows. I literally forgot where I put everything once, but luckily other people were there and they remembered where I put it.
No, let's be straight. Other people were there. Other people remembered I was there and wondered if I'd taken it.
I'm like, nah, Carl wouldn't have taken it. But yeah, literally, I actually forgot where I put my entire superannuation fund. But I found it again, luckily. But yeah, like when they come looking, like I'm not saying this is what we're doing. We're not encouraging you put it all into self-managed super fund and then run away with it. We're not saying that because that is very bad and can get very bad penalties and all of that. But what I'm saying is that if the whole financial system collapses, as we believe it's going to do, the last of the tax officer's worries is going to be where you buried your super fund.
Yeah. So it seems like there is a fairly reasonable plan of attack, unless you are one of the brainwashed who says, "Oh, the government told me, so I'm going to do it."
And none of us here are like that.
None of us are like that. No, I guess there will be some normies who are stacking, but they'd be the ones who would be quite likely to hand it over because they think they're doing the right thing. Terribly sad. All right, well, listen, I'll just have a quick scan and just see if there's any more questions here. But if people want to check out self-managed super funds, how is it best to do, considering that you're in Bali and don't answer emails?
And as I said, Mary Jane's the best one to speak to anyway. So Freedom Financial Solutions, Freedom FFS is our website, literally Freedom FFS, Freedom for F sake. And then
.com.au.
Yeah, there's literally order forms on there. You can go straight to an order form, set one up, or you can meet with Mary Jane and she'll talk you through it all. We have frequently asked questions. Like Mary Jane is a process person, so there's like a 300-page frequently asked question documents. There are YouTube videos. There's everything you could possibly need to know. There are fees involved in an SMSF, and sometimes, depending on your balance, the fees may be prohibitive. But I think we're getting to a point where it's just, and I've had people with really low balances just say, well, I don't care about the fees because I prefer to still have it in gold and silver that may skyrocket to 15,000 an ounce.
Yep.
Rather than worry about the fees. And the fees are like, we are just charging what we need to do to, I've got United Arab Emirates ringing me.
Oh,
in Bali.
there you go.
Yeah, so with the fees, I mean, we are just covering, we've got officers, we've got staff, we've got insurances, we've got licenses. We're not making a huge profit. And we actually, Freedom Financial Solutions, we are running as a non-profit, so we do donate our profits to likes of Carl and other freedom causes that we come across. And we've actually set up a charity as well that we'll be donating profits to, which is solely set up to help the medically injured, if you can know what I'm talking about there.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So I retired. Mary Jane retired too. We both retired, but we sort of came back because this to us isn't work. This is fun. This is helping people. This is giving us what I guess our life purpose and what we love in life is that we feel like we're really contributing to a really good cause.
Crunch is keen to know if the US dollar crashes, what are we needing to look for in the stock market?
Yeah, I have a simple answer to that, given I was a financial planner for 20 years. What are you doing in the stock market?
Yeah, exactly. Get out, get out, get out.
Yeah, I believe
Look,
when the stock market crashes, and this is based on Robert Kiyosaki and other experts that I follow, is that when the stock market crashes, it will be the biggest crash in human history. It will be greater than 80%. So if you're in the stock market, good on you. Be prepared for the worst.
Govern yourself has an interesting concept here, and I've heard this as well, that the dollar won't crash; it will be transformed in some fashion, supposedly with gold. I was watching one of the Ainsley Insight videos earlier today. They were talking about the BRICS, the most recent BRICS meeting, where conspicuous by his absence was Xi Jinping. Everybody else, all the major players in the BRICS movement were there, but all of a sudden the head honcho of China wasn't. He did send somebody else, but could that mean that the BRICS alliance might be shaking a little bit, and this whole move to bring down the US dollar, given the pressure Trump might be putting on China, is having an effect?
Who knows? Like I've given up following all that sort of stuff because I don't believe we have any idea what's going on. We are just shown little bits of tidbits of that and this and that. We're told what we want, what they want us to know. We don't know. We don't know what's really going on.
Sandy's just saying that your fees, or the FFS fees, are reasonable and cheaper than normal super funds.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper depending on your balance. It's only if you've got a very small balance, then the fees are going to be more expensive. But then once again, it's still better than losing it all. But what we do is we encourage people to join together. So if you've got a small balance, you might have a friend and another friend and a partner or a son or a whatever. And if 6 people can go in one fund. So the break-even point for when the fees in an SMSF are equivalent or better is about 200,000. So some people are just saying, like, we've had people, our smallest super fund was 30,000. And he just went, I don't care. I want to set up one anyway. I know the fees are going to be expensive. And then he put it all in Bitcoin, and he's laughing, like this was several years ago. He's laughed all the way to the bank. Other people with such small balance, they say, well, let's join with 5 other people. And I've suggested this before, that people like on this show that have got small balances, we can't help you get together, but Carl could get you to all comment, you've only got 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, and join together. You guys join together and then come to us as a group of 4 or 5 people. Yeah,
that's very definitely. And I think we've done that previously. I know that there were 4 or 5 people, and for various reasons and complications, it's been difficult for me to be actually involved with it. Might have something to do with something I haven't done in many years. But I don't have enough in my super account to be really worried about it. And I turn 60 at the end of this year. So I'll be able to get whatever there is of it out anyway. And I can guarantee you that I'll be going straight to Ainsley Bullion and getting a better return on that than I would have ever got in the big super fund. So don't come to me and ask me to join yours. But yes, if you want to find like-minded people, then I'm happy to be the conduit for that. And if you want to email me, I'll start putting a bit of a list of things together, and I'll hook you all together so you can have conversations. We're a happy family here at Voice of Freedom, Cass, but we know happy families all start out with the greatest of intentions, and these amalgamated super funds can occasionally turn bad. What are the downsides of getting into a super fund with a bunch of people you don't know?
Mainly the investment choice. So you need to all be on the same page. You can't hop in with 5 other people and then this person says they want XRP and this person wants Bitcoin and this person wants gold and this person wants silver. You actually all choose the investments together. You can get together and let's do 20% here and 20% here, but you've got to choose it together. And that's probably one of the biggest downfalls if people aren't on the same page. But a lot of our clients are just like straight into gold and silver. So if you're all on the same page with let's just put it straight in gold and silver, then there's no arguments.
And so, say Michelle Bradley Smith and Travis Boyd and myself band together with Sunflower and Pete from Pinaroo, and we all decide that we're going to invest in precious metals. Because Pete from Pinaroo has a few more car bodies that he's sold, he's got a few more shekels in his bank than I have in mine. He wants to buy more gold than silver. I, on the other hand, only have a smaller amount of money. I would be able to get a higher percentage of silver, and given the cost benefit ratio that we're hoping for, that could be more beneficial in the long run, in my thought. Does it matter how it's broken up? Can I split my funds into what I want?
No, you've got to decide together. So all your money goes into one pool, and then you all go, well, let's do 60% gold, 40% silver. You can't have
Okay, so when we decide that we've got 60-40 gold, silver, where do we store it? Does it all have to be stored together? Do you get your bit, or does Pete get his bit? Do I get my bit? Does Michelle get her bit?
Well, yeah, that's also where it gets complicated. You could do that. You could get your own bits, or, I really trust Ainsley Bullion. So in that sort of situation, I think it would probably be better to have it as a allocated pool in Ainsley Bullion, so that just for the trust factor, so that it's all there, it's all in one location, in one vault, and you all know it's all accounted for. You're not worrying that somebody's running off with their metals, etc.
Sunflower asked, what is a small balance? You keep talking about small balances.
Yeah, so look, as I said, the break-even point where an SMSF becomes financially viable is about 200,000.
Right. So anything under that is considered a small balance.
Yeah, but we've definitely done it for a lot of people with 150, 180, 130. If it gets under 100,000, then we're like, try and find someone else, partner, friend, family, because then your balance is 100,000, their balance is 80,000. Now it's a viable super fund. So
So you don't have to have 6 people. You might be able to have 2 or 3.
And there is no minimum. As I said, the lowest one we've done was about 30,000. Like, he wanted it. We just get you to sign a whole lot of disclosures to say, we've warned you about the fees. But that guy has now got a balance of quite a few 100,000. So he was a small balance fund of 30,000 for a short period of time before he ended up quite a good balance.
Pete wants to know about the COVID super grab, if it occurred, in your opinion, or an observation on it.
Not exactly sure what you mean, Pete, because in COVID they allowed people to get super out. So they allowed, it was 10,000 a year per person, and I know my sons did it 2 years in a row, so 10,000 one year, 10,000 another year. They took out 20,000. We decimated their super, like they're only in their 20s. They didn't really care. They just want the money out. One bought a car, one, I don't know, paid off his court case, paid his legal fees. But yeah, no, that was the only thing that happened in COVID with super, is that they actually let people get it out. And I guess that was a good thing at the time, but it did affect a lot of people's balances. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm just seeing if there's any more questions here for you.
Just one. Like somebody, CP, has just said trust no one, and I think that is a really great motto, is trust no one. And so the important thing to point about that is with Freedom Financial Solutions and setting up an SMSF, you are trusting no one. You're not trusting us. We're just setting up the paperwork for you. The money goes over into your hands. You decide what to do with it. You're not trusting us. We could shut up shop next week. It doesn't matter. You've still got your super. You've got your money. You're not trusting us. We're just doing some administration paperwork for you.
Yeah. You don't handle, well,
no.
In most cases, you don't handle the bullion, although I know you have been known to go and get it for clients and then bring it to them. But
I've helped out a bit like that. But we don't handle the money. The money is in your hands. We just do paperwork.
Yeah. And you do it very, very well, very quickly. And like I say, you guys have been able to develop that relationship too, and hold their feet to the coals on more than one occasion. The big super funds who you guys have been doing this for 2-3 years now, and you've been holding their feet to the coals when they resist giving up the money or go slow on it at any rate. So I think I don't know how many times in various different parts of the country that I've been to, people have come up and said they've had this experience with you and they're so happy that it's been that way. Sandy and Baz from the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary, they've done their SMSF through you guys and they couldn't be happier. Judging by the praise she's singing for you in the chat at the moment. And there are many others, thousands of others that we've been able to help. And, quite a few of you.
We've even been in the Australian newspaper as challenging a super fund who wouldn't release their clients' money, and we took them to task and we won. I've also been, like, a little bit about my background is I was in the tax department at a very high level for 10 years, 11 actually. And so I know the inside. And when they first, this is a good story for those that haven't heard it. When we first started doing this, one of my clients, she had a good super balance, but she'd been unemployed for a period of time because she refused to take a particular poison. And so she was unemployed, and we tried to set up a super fund, and the tax office tried to block her. And they said no, that they had deemed her incompetent to be a super fund trustee, because she was unemployed, she didn't have a job. Like, who is she to run her own super? Oh, I went to task on them. I sent them a 10-page objection listing everything under the sun. How dare you? Where in the law and where in the legislation gives you the right to determine that my client is not competent? And the only reason you're saying she's not competent is that she doesn't have a job because you sacked her because she chose her own medical procedures.
Yeah, wow.
Anyway, they very quickly backed down. They had an interview with her and they really grilled her. But anyway, they backed down. They let her set up a super fund, and then they didn't challenge us ever again. So we must have got a tick in the back end of the system to go, no, don't fuck with them. They know what they're doing. The tax office have got no right to stop you doing this. Yeah.
And while they may speak a lot of words that will discourage or try to discourage you, that's only because they're protecting the wealth for themselves. All those fees that get paid go straight to somebody's bottom line, and they're all enjoying a share of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, just one other thing. Carl and I have done a show in the past about the ATO and their ABN.
Yes.
Where they're actually owned by American corporations, and that still hasn't changed. That's still on the ABN register. So the ATO,
they have changed their address from above a store in East Bentley in Melbourne, though. Their registered address. One's moved. Yeah, that was pretty funny. All right, well, look, I don't know what time. What are you, 2 hours behind us in Bali, so the sun might still be up. You might have time to put the bikini on and go and do some yoga beside the pool.
Maybe.
All right, go and enjoy yourself, and thank you for taking time out of, well, it's not really a holiday, it's a working holiday, I guess, for you. And
I never stop working. I'm working on myself and working on products, or not products, but just working out things we can do to help with what's coming. A bit scary in Indonesia. You never know when there's a volcano going to go off and we're going to get a tsunami, but I figure we're all going to die once. I'd like to be back in Australia, but there's reasons prohibiting that at the moment. So, I'm still here. I'm still working on everything I can to help. With
we should point out, you're not on the run, right? People shouldn't get the idea that you're on the run. All right, just want to point that out because you're sounding almost nefarious.
Yes, I am. I just feel safer overseas at the moment.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, go and enjoy yourself. I'm sure there'll be a Thai salad and a monkey ready to pinch your sunglasses at any opportunity.
See ya.
Uh-huh. See ya. Catherine Smith, all the way from Bali. And thank her for her time tonight, coming in while she is on a bit of a break and giving us this very important information. So, folks, if you are still in the world of big super and you still think that super funds can't collapse. Well, they don't collapse, but sometimes the investments that they put your money into do, and you don't get any of your money back. The big super fund will still be there, but all your money will be gone. That still amounts to me to be the same thing, particularly if there is a lot of us that have lost our money in a certain investment. Now, I haven't even checked to see whether or not my money's involved with that mob that has gone down. Have you, if you're in a big super fund? So go and check that out. And if you aren't convinced yet and you have further questions, then by all means, please go to Freedom Financial Solutions, freedomffs.com.au is the website. There is a whole list of forms there. You fill those in, Mary Jane and her team, and there is quite a little team there to work on it for you. We'll send you back a package which will have pretty much all your questions answered and all the paperwork. All you need to do is sign it and get it back to them, and the process will be started. It is that simple, and I can't tell you how many people that I've been lucky enough to deal with over the last couple of years, 3 years or so, who have been through this experience. They just can't heap enough praise on, Cass and her team at that time, but now it's now Mary Jane and the bunch of girls who are working in the office out of Canberra at the moment. Ivan, he does apparently buy silver. Well done. Yes, if you are going to go and buy anything, I would buy silver because, just having a quick glance, 57.03. So it hasn't quite gone up $2 since last night, but it's gone up $1.25 thereabouts. Gold, on the other hand, hasn't really moved. It's still at $5,075.70. There has been a bit of movement on platinum, and platinum is very interesting. It's now nearly up to $2,100. If you haven't seen or thought of platinum as a bullion investment, then maybe sort of it's in the middle between silver and gold, depending on how much money you have and what you want to carry around with you. Silver is great. If you've got a lot of money and you buy a lot of silver, that's tremendous, but you've got to be able to store it, and it's heavy, really heavy if you're buying a lot of it. So not even a lot of it. I mean, you don't have to have a very large bag to have the handles rip out of it as you're walking down the street. Might only have 8, if you're lucky enough, 8 or 6 to 8 kilos in it, but it is heavy, very heavy. And if you've got 80 kilos of it, it's a lot harder to move around. The same value in gold is much easier. You can put it in your pocket and walk around with it, but you've got to be able to afford the gold to start off with. And like I say, just over $5,000 for an ounce at the moment, which is the cheapest I've seen it in a little while. It hasn't dipped below 5,000 yet, and it seems to be sticking around the $5,070 mark in that range. I'm going to go and have a bit of a look through a lot of the Ainsley Insights bulletins that have been put out this week, including the one on Bitcoin, which has been very interesting. Matt, who you might know from our collectibles series, is very involved in the crypto side of things. And if you want some advice at Ainsley Bullion, you can call Matt in the Brisbane office, and he'll be very happy to talk to you about what's going on. He is overjoyed at what's going on with Bitcoin at the moment, apparently up to about 115% or 117%. It's on the increase, which is great. There is also big news about Ripple. Ripple is becoming a bank. They're applying for all the licenses and all the regulatory requirements, and it is expected that they will get it all. What does that really mean? Well, according to Chris Tipper on a very good Ainsley Insights broadcast that is available on their website today, go and have a bit of a look at what he says this means. And it's all good news for people who are into the crypto scene. Apparently the big issue really has been able to transfer your real wealth into a stable coin or some kind of token that you trust, and you're not going to get ripped off from. Apparently this Ripple bank system will allow a great or a significant jump ahead in that sort of technology and that sort of usability, and it will enable them to make that usability like any one of the big banks that we have here in Australia. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Keep an eye on it. I had hoped Vince was going to join us tonight, and he might have been able to explain that a little bit better. But unfortunately, Vincenzo was otherwise engaged. I get the funny feeling he might be snoring a bit. I'm going to shoot off, but just before I do, I want to let you know about this show, which will happen this time next Friday. Now, Grant Abbott is going to blow you away with some of the stories that he will tell you about protecting your bloodline and what that really means to your personal wealth. Now, this is all about how wills work, essentially. And you might think, oh, look, I've got a will and I'm protected and I've written it all out and my solicitor did this and that and the other thing. And all well and good. You might have a perfectly well-written will. However, wills are challenged in courts every day, and they are challenged by some of the weirdest people you would think would have no claim to any part of your estate. Well, turns out after you shuffle off this mortal coil, there are leeches and worms and sick people that come out of nowhere and try and gain as much of your wealth as they possibly can. And in some cases, and in a great many cases, they succeed. And what that does is that takes your wealth, the wealth you've grown for your entire life, and you've wanted to leave to specific people in your life, be that your significant other, your kids, or, your favorite pet. And that wealth is stolen from them by an external source. If you want to learn how to protect that wealth and make sure that it goes to your intended recipients, then next Friday night is a show you don't want to miss with Grant Abbott on The Voice of Freedom. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, folks. Don't go out and do anything loud and outrageous. There's a chance I'm going to be on the Sunshine Coast early next week. There are a lot of things happening in my part of the world, and we'll just see playing out. I've got a mate who's having an anniversary for his 60th year in radio. That's pretty good, considering I haven't quite had 60 years on the planet yet, but he's celebrating his 60th year in radio. So if anybody happens to know Bob Harding, that's who is celebrating. And I can't wait to wish him all the best. He was one of my old radio station managers and probably one of the better ones, if truth be told. We've always managed to stay friends. And it's always nice to have the odd friend or two. Like so many of you sitting here in the chat tonight, we are a wonderful family. And I am meeting up with a few of you on Sunday. Now, Kathy's going to hate me because I'm dropping it on her right now, and I haven't rung to tell her. Kathy, don't know if you'd like to, but come and have lunch with us at the Canungra Hotel on Sunday. There will be, it's not a big crowd. In fact, I know of 2 people that are coming and me. So if you'd like to come and you feel the urge to come, we're going to be at the Canungra pub from about 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. And I have an engagement or another thing I have to get off to on Sunday afternoon. But we'll have lunch, be there for a few hours, and be able to shoot off from there. So if you're in the southeast corner and you want to catch up for something to eat and maybe a friendly drink, then by all means, we would love to see you Sunday, Canungra Hotel. They're not expecting us, so we're just going to go en masse. Whether it be 1 table or 20, we'll see what it works out at. But come for 11. I don't think the lunch or the bar opens till, I beg your pardon, the kitchen doesn't open till 12, but we plan on being first in line. So if you want to come to feed, be there before 12. That would be the safest bet. And while you're getting there, remember, if you're coming up the road out of the Gold Coast, it's very twisty, very turny, and on the weekends, it's full of dickheads.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!